Okay, so let's unpack this. What if I told you that digging into a super popular, like really intense South Korean survival show could actually give you some surprisingly useful insights for navigating your 20s?
You mean that whole quarter-life crisis thing people talk about?
Exactly. That phase. Sometimes it feels affectionate, sometimes, well, not so much.
It sounds unlikely, right? A show like that giving life advice.
It does. But that's exactly what this article we found explores. It pulls out these key life lessons, specifically from watching the show.
We're talking about Squid Game, obviously.
Right, Squid Game, if you haven't seen it, just picture people in really desperate financial spots playing kids' games.
But with, like, deadly stakes. It's brutal.
Totally brutal. The source we're looking at even compares it to the Hunger Games, maybe even, a bit darker.
So our mission here in this deep dive is basically to take this article's perspective.
Yeah, and really pull out the most important bits it offers, maybe stuff you wouldn't expect.
Especially for understanding those challenges and uncertainties that crop up, big life transitions, figuring things out in your 20s, that whole deal.
Exactly. Think of it like we're filtering through all the intensity of the show, using this article as a guide to find those, nuggets of wisdom for your own life.
Like a friend saying, hey, I read this interesting take on Squid Game and it actually made me think about...
Yeah, using something well-known to talk about something universal. Okay, so let's jump in. First, big lesson the source pulls out: networking, building relationships.
Which seems counterintuitive in that show, doesn't it?
It really does.
I mean, it's pure competition, kill or be killed, almost literally.
But the article points out something fascinating. Even in that environment, you see characters forming alliances, friendships, even moments of trust.
Sometimes misplaced trust, sure, but they're connecting and relying on each other.
And the bigger life lesson there, the source argues, is super relevant if you're in that, quarter-life fog.
Feeling unsure about your career or relationships or maybe thinking about grad school.
Right. All those common 20s uncertainties. The people around you, they're not just, scenery.
Yeah, the article really hammers this home. Always be building and, maybe more importantly, nurturing those connections.
Friends, family.
But also actively seeking out mentors, people who've maybe been through similar stuff, professionals, personal mentors.
People who can offer that longer-term perspective and advice when you feel stuck.
It's like your alliance in the game, right? Your network is vital support, not just for finding a job, but for, surviving the ups and downs.
Absolutely. It's about having that support structure, which actually leads nicely into the second point from the source: practicing empathy.
Empathy in Squid Game. That feels like a stretch at first glance.
Well, think about the context, right? Every single player, as the source notes, is there because they're desperate. Life has dealt them a really bad hand, financially speaking.
Okay, yeah. That shared desperation is kind of the baseline. They all need that prize money.
And the source highlights this weird duality. Yeah, they're competitors trying to win.
But in some games, they have to cooperate. They're teammates, forced together.
Exactly. And you see these moments where characters connect. They form these bonds with people they feel, understood by, or who they understand.
It taps into that really fundamental human need, right? To be seen, to be understood, even when things are terrible.
So the article defines empathy here as, the basic ability to understand and share someone else's feelings.
And argues it's not just like a nice thing to have, it's actually a powerful tool or lens.
Totally. And the application for someone navigating their 20s is pretty big, the source suggests.
How so?
Well, maybe you're not going through the exact same thing as your friend. Like your stress is about finding a job, theirs is about a relationship ending.
Okay. Different problems.
Different specifics, yeah.
Yeah.
But the source says the key is recognizing that they're also likely going through something difficult, just like you are.
I see. So it's about recognizing the struggle itself, even if the details differ.
Right. And having that empathy, being able to kind of step into their shoes for a moment, even if you can't fix it. It builds connection. It fosters compassion.
Which is probably pretty crucial when everyone around you is also trying to figure their own life out at the same time.
Exactly. A little understanding goes a long way, makes the uncertainty maybe feel a bit less isolating.
Makes sense. Okay, what's the third lesson?
This one's a bit more philosophical, maybe. The source talks about playing the long game.
The long game. Okay. How does that connect to the show?
The article uses the main character, Sang Gi-hin, the winner of season 1, as the example.
Right. He wins, gets all the money, but then what?
Exactly. He's not happy. He's dealing with massive survivor's guilt, trauma. He's kind of broken by the experience.
He doesn't just ride off into the sunset. Far from it.
And the source draws this really interesting parallel. It says that feeling achieving a big goal, something you worked hard for, like graduating or getting that job.
And then feeling kind of weird afterwards. Not just pure joy.
Yeah. Feeling uneasy or uncertain, maybe even guilty or just gray, as the source puts it. It's that emotional roller coaster after the win or after a big life phase ends.
That feeling of, okay, I did the thing. Now what?
Precisely. And the article frames life itself as being less about reaching some final win state and more about learning to navigate these continuous ebbs and flows.
So success doesn't mean the challenges stop.
Not at all. It just brings different challenges, maybe. It's about playing the long game.
Okay.
There's even this quote the source pulls from the show, from that old rich guy character, the architect of the games.
Oh yeah, Ilnam.
He says something like, there are no ways that watching life can be more fun than playing it yourself.
Wow. Okay. That hits differently in this context.
Right. And the source suggests holding on to that idea. Even when you feel unsettled or gray after something big happens, good or bad, the point isn't to just wish you were on the sidelines.
The challenges, the disappointments, the wins, the confusion, it's all part of actually playing the game of life.
That's the idea. Taking it in stride, understanding it's all part of the ongoing process, not just isolated events.
It's a shift from thinking, did I win or lose this phase, to how am I engaging with this ongoing process?
Exactly. Pretty powerful reframe, actually, moving away from that binary thinking.
It really is kind of amazing how this article managed to pull these genuinely deep life insights from such a dark, violent show.
I know. Finding wisdom in unexpected places, right? So just to recap quickly, we've looked at how the source uses the show to talk about, one, the huge value of relationships and your network.
Building those alliances.
Two, the power of empathy, even when things feel competitive or tough.
Seeing the shared struggle.
And three, that perspective shift towards playing the long game, embracing the ups and downs, especially during those uncertain 20s.
Yeah, navigating the ebbs and flows.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with, kind of build on that idea from the source. If lessons can come from unexpected places, like a TV show about deadly games, what other games or, challenges in your own life, maybe things you're dealing with right now, might actually hold some valuable, surprising insights?
If you approached them differently.
Yeah. If you thought about them less like something just happening to you, and more with that mindset the source mentions. Actively playing the long game, learning as you go.
Instead of just wishing you could sit it out and watch from the sideline.
Exactly. Something to think about.